Did you know that one of history's most terrifying conquerors, a man whose name struck fear into the hearts of kings from Delhi to Damascus, was actually lame? That's right. The man we know as Tamerlane, or Timur the Lame, built one of the largest empires in history, all while walking with a pronounced limp. But how did this disabled warrior from a minor tribe in modern-day Uzbekistan rise to become the scourge of God? Let's dive into the brutal, world-changing story of Timur and his colossal empire on this episode of History Pickle. Our story begins in the mid-14th century. The mighty Mongol Empire of Genghis Khan had fractured. In its place, various successor states squabbled for power. Into this chaotic world, Timur was born in 1336 near Samarkand. He wasn't a direct descendant of Genghis Khan, a crucial detail for legitimacy back then, but he claimed a distant connection and, more importantly, married into the Genghis line. From a young age, Timur was ambitious and charismatic, a natural leader of men. He started as a local sheep rustler and mercenary, but his strategic genius and utter ruthlessness quickly set him apart. He consolidated power, eliminating rivals one by one until by 1370. He was the undisputed ruler of the region, making the glorious city of Samarkand his capital. But ruling his homeland wasn't enough. Timur saw himself as the restorer of the Mongol Empire's glory, and he embarked on a series of relentless military campaigns that would last for 35 years. His first major target was Persia, which had splintered into several smaller kingdoms. From 1383, Timur's armies, a terrifying mix of disciplined cavalry and siege experts, swept through the region. Cities that surrendered were often spared heavy taxes, but those that resisted faced unimaginable horror. In Isfahan, after a rebellion, Timur's soldiers reportedly built pyramids out of 70,000 human skulls as a chilling warning to others. He wasn't just conquering, he was making a statement. With Persia subdued, Timur turned his attention north to his former ally, Toktamish, the Khan of the Golden Horde. Toktamish had dared to invade Timur's lands while he was away. Enraged, Timur pursued him deep into the Russian steppes. The ensuing war was a clash of titans, two of the most powerful Mongol Turkic forces on the planet. In 1395, at the Battle of the Terek River, Timur delivered a crushing defeat to the Golden Horde, from which it would never fully recover. He sacked their capital, Sarai, and diverted their trade routes through his own empire, permanently crippling their economic and military power. This single campaign had a profound impact, indirectly aiding the rise of the Grand Duchy of Moscow, which would eventually evolve into Russia. Next on the list was India, lured by the legendary wealth of the Delhi Sultanate. Timur launched an invasion in 1398. The Sultan's army, with its fearsome war elephants, seemed like a formidable obstacle. But Timur was a master of psychological warfare and clever tactics. He had his men dig trenches and even set camels on fire, charging them towards the elephants, which panicked and trampled their own lines. Delhi fell, and the city was mercilessly sacked for days. An immense treasure, along with countless skilled artisans, was hauled back to Samarkand to beautify Timur's capital. The Delhi Sultanate was left so weakened that it would struggle for nearly a century to regain its former strength. The sheer scale of the destruction was staggering. Understanding these vast campaigns and the geography they covered can be challenging. That's why having a good historical atlas is invaluable. I've been using the Penguin Historical Atlas of the World, which provides clear, detailed maps of this period. It really helps you visualize the scale of Timur's empire and trace his roots from Central Asia to India and beyond. It's a fantastic resource for any history enthusiast, and you can find a link to it in the description below if you want to check it out. With India plundered, Timur turned west. The Mamluk Sultanate of Egypt and Syria, and the rising Ottoman Empire in Anatolia now stood in his path. He first swept through Syria, sacking Aleppo and then the great city of Damascus in 1401. Again, artisans were deported to Samarkand while the city was put to the torch. This brought him into direct conflict with the ambitious Ottoman Sultan Bayezid I, known as the Thunderbolt. Bayezid was busy besieging Constantinople, but he had to turn his army around to face this new threat from the east. The two colossal armies met near Ankara in 1402. In a shocking turn of events, Timur's strategic brilliance won the day. Bayezid was not only defeated, but captured a humiliation from which the Ottomans would not recover for a decade. This defeat delayed the eventual fall of Constantinople by about 50 years, giving the Byzantine Empire a brief, final respite. Timur was now the most powerful ruler in the world, from the borders of China to the Mediterranean. His capital, Samarkand, became a dazzling center of art, architecture, and science. Funded by the spoils of war and built by the hands of craftsmen forcibly relocated from every corner of his vast empire. Grand mosques, madrasas, and observatories rose from the desert, testaments to a complex legacy of destruction and creation. Timur was a paradox, a patron of the arts who is also one of history's most prolific destroyers of life. Historians estimate that his campaigns led to the deaths of somewhere between 7 to 17 million people. A staggering figure, possibly representing up to 5% of the entire world's population at the time. He didn't just defeat armies, he depopulated entire regions, turning flourishing farmlands back into wastelands. If you're fascinated by the rise and fall of great empires like Timur's, I highly recommend the book Genghis Khan and the Making of the Modern World by Jack Weatherford. While it focuses on Genghis, it provides incredible context for the Mongol world that Timur sought to rebuild. It's an absolutely captivating read that connects this history to our world today. I've left a link for it in the description as well. It's a perfect companion piece to understanding Timur's own motivations and impact. But even for a man who seemed unstoppable, time was running out. In 1404, at nearly 70 years old, Timur embarked on his most ambitious campaign yet, the invasion of Ming China. He assembled a massive army, said to be over 200,000 strong, and marched east during the harsh winter. But this would be the one conquest he would never complete. In February 1405, Timur fell ill and died. His grand invasion of China died with him. Immediately after his death, his empire, held together by his personal genius and sheer force of will, began to fracture. His sons and grandsons fought over the inheritance, and within a few decades, the mighty Timurid Empire had shrunk dramatically, eventually giving way to new powers like the Uzbeks, the Safavids in Persia, and one of Timur's own descendants, Babur, who would go on to found the Mughal Empire in India. So, what is the legacy of this lame conqueror from Samarkand? It's a legacy written in blood and stone. He was a military genius whose campaigns were among the most brutal in human history. His wars fundamentally reshaped the political map of Asia, crippling the Golden Horde, hobbling the Ottomans, and shattering the Delhi Sultanate. Yet, from this devastation arose the Timurid Renaissance, a final, brilliant flowering of Islamic art and science in Central Asia. His conquest ended, but the world he left behind was irrevocably changed, setting the stage for the rise of the Russian, Ottoman, and Mughal empires that would dominate the next several centuries. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through the conquests of Timur. If you found this video interesting, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more deep dives into history. Let us know in the comments which historical figure you'd like to see covered next. Until next time, stay curious.